Can you tell us how Og Mandino saved your life? Is that worth talking about?
Yeah, well, I was to me. Saved my life.
I mean, other than you still being alive, is it interesting?
Yeah, he was, in one of his books, he wrote about it, that he decided to commit suicide. He was a park bench drunk, frequently covered with vomit and waking up in the morning and not knowing which park he was in. And he decided to end it all. So he went to a pawn shop, looked in the window, and there was a pistol he could buy for $39, I believe was the figure, and he didn't have $39. So he said, I'll save up the money. Well, by the time he saved up the money, the feeling had passed for the moment. But later, he got a hold of a gun somehow, and he said, I decided to end it all, Ben. And so I put the gun in my mouth, and he said, I tasted defeat. Combination of cold steel, gunpowder residue, probably the oil from whoever cleaned the gun last. He said it's a unique taste, the taste of defeat, and I refused to be defeated. Put the gun down and went about my life and became Og Mandino. So he told me that story, and I thought, well, that's interesting. You know, not too long after, 2-3 years later, my life as I knew it was unwinding. My mentor and boss, William Penpatrick, and I got in a squabble, and I got fired, but I continued living like the money was coming in, like it had been, but nothing was coming in. And in the result, I got terribly depressed. The house was foreclosed on, cars were towed away, and I was up in my office, and from a distance in this magnificent home, obviously a successful guy, broke, looking out over San Francisco Bay, and I picked up my .357 Magnum, which I'd gotten because there was some death threats. I was in multi-level marketing in the Wild West days. I picked up my .357 Magnum and decided to end it. And I put it in my mouth, and I was gone. I had made the decision, and I tasted what Og Mandino had described. I tasted defeat. And if he hadn't told me that story, I don't think it would have crossed my mind.
Sure, that was a trigger. Sure, I would think of that if I ever, God forbid, put a gun barrel in my mouth. I would always think of that now.
So put the gun down on my desk and went back to being Ben Gay. And Og had literally saved my life. It took a while to climb out of the hole, but it all worked out far better than it had been before.
This has been Jeff Stearns, Connected Through Cars.